Vince McMahon needed filtering during WWE creative meetings. Triple H wants a big SummerSlam moment, and we have an update on AEW's Nick Wayne following a terrifying flight incident. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Oh look, some Vince McMahon news. Well, what a time it has been since Vince McMahon retired. I don't think we've talked about him as much as we have.
Yeah, but now it's time to talk about him.
Some more.
Yes, some more. Yes.
Even more Vince stuff. So we're going to see this and hear this a bit more now. Stories of Vince McMahon's backstage conduct coming to light, since there are now no real ramifications for doing so.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to hear some stories, and Fightful Select, they found some stories.
They have. They say Fightful has heard from many within the creative process who say that many of the creative writers' assistants effectively needed to filter Vince themselves in ways. We've also heard that the minutes are heavily edited, like the minutes of meetings, the log of meetings that are had. It ranged from Vince saying things that would appear insensitive or offensive to, oh God, what did he just say moments. Some of the stories included McMahon constantly calling people the wrong names or using terms that weren't socially acceptable, and that even he himself would never have allowed on television. Literally is just like a granddad at a family dinner, isn't it?
It truly is a granddad in a family dinner.
That's kind of making light of it. He's in an immensely powerful position and he shouldn't be doing this. So I need to just clarify there.
He's not quite a cute granddad when he's paid $12.6 million in hush money for allegations paid through the company. Oh, granddad!
What do you like? You can't say those words anymore. Another Fightful go on to say, another former production employee said, if a live feed of Vince McMahon on a headset any given night ever made it out, that it would provide a pretty good picture of that production experience, especially for the announcers. There were plenty of times he was in a good mood, but would blow up at the most ridiculous things and act like they ruined an angle that was far past its expiration date anyway.
I find it very difficult. I want these sources cited, because I find it very difficult to believe that the man who gets angry at sneezing would blow up at the most inopportune and inappropriate things.
And I think that none of this is particularly surprising, is it, unfortunately? And also, Fightful added a bit, I believe, where they said that they asked one source, what do you think the biggest change will be now that Triple H is at the helm? And that source said probably words to the effect of the ability to remember what we have and haven't done before in storylines.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. And honestly, the way that some storylines progressed in WWE over the past few years, I can believe that as well.
It does, this is the problem when you're dealing with one man at the top and having to rely on his recollection to, and very rarely can he be challenged on stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're going to hear more stories like this, and I think that one at the end, about the production experience, about him on the headset. We've heard stuff over the years that back that up. You know, there's videos online of Michael Cole kind of, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sirring on mic to the production team.
Yes.
When he's being chewed out by Vince.
Renee Paquette told a story about, it wasn't during commentary, but it was when she was doing some sort of link or some sort of segment.
No, it was when I think it was when she was on comms where she...
it was when she was on comms.
She referred to Tyson Fury as the Gypsy King. And Vince was like, we're not calling him that. You have ruined the show.
And she's like, no, he does call himself. Also, he kept being like, call him the lineal heavyweight champion. He was really adamant about the lineal part of it. And she was like, she called him like the world heavyweight champion or something.
Vince McMahon is so funny on words and the way they need to be delivered that instead of making everything sound big, you actually you give people too many things to work around, and it all sounds really clunky. Talked about this, and there's a video that we did yesterday, which is how WWE will look with Triple H in control, and the idea of taking away all those words that you're not allowed to say will be great to allow people to express much better and talk more like human beings.
The only two that I can think of, Pat McAfee and Cody Rhodes, they're the only two who seem to buck the trend there because they're in unique positions and they've got the power to do so. Pat because he doesn't care and he's got his own successful life and career, and Cody because he's the big name coming back.
He's Cody Rhodes.
Here he is.
Haven't sang that song in a while.
He'll say belt and wrestling. He doesn't care about your local medical facility.
In other Vince McMahon bit of news, some stock-related stuff. WWE, according to PW Insider, issued an SEC filing that stated that Vince McMahon has disposed of nearly 40,000 shares of WWE stock, noting that it consisted of a portion of unvested stock units previously reported, which were forfeited by McMahon in connection with his retirement. Now, the filing notes that these stocks are worth just under $3 million. Compared to the hush money, a bit of a drop in the ocean.
A little bit.
Like throwing a deck chair off the Titanic, that, to be honest.
So apparently, Aiden was saying upstairs that apparently Vince has way more shares than this, but he's disposed of about 40,000 of them.
More just like a thing to go, I've done that.
Okay, fair
There
enough.
you go. I think just to be seen to be willing.
He's still very much the majority shareholder.
Yes, still very much so. Let's move away from Vince McMahon and talk about the guy that's heading up the creative. Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are CEOs, but the conversation's truly been about Triple H and the way that he will guide the ship from a creative standpoint going forward.
Yes. WrestleVotes popping up on Twitter with a little bit of light on this, saying, with SummerSlam being his first real show in total control, source says Triple H would like to make a creative splash at the event. However, only if it makes sense. He won't just do something to do it. So something may or may not happen, I suppose. But I enjoyed the way you read the headline at the start of this video, because you went, Triple H might want to do a big, so you like going like big.
Is that a big moment?
Oh, get him back.
Yes.
The Paul and Paul. The Paul connection. The two-man power pole.
The two Paul power trip.
Yeah.
Get Paul Heyman in there as well.
Yeah.
And
the Legion of Paul.
The Legion of Paul. And Paul McGann.
Okay. Paul McGann.
So I think other Pauls.
Fair enough.
Paul Whitehouse.
I'm trying to think of any Pauls. Paul Phoenix from Tekken.
Nice. That's a great shout.
I'm a harangue boy, not a Paul boy. Come on.
Big splash, big creative splash from Triple H, if it makes sense. Now, the one thing that this could just be is in the minutiae, in the sense that this is the first show where you haven't got like commentary being harangued. You haven't got a lot of the very rigid structure of a WWE show, and you just let people flow a little bit more. You know, maybe you tweak it so you're not doing this with the camera all the time. Maybe it can be in the little things. Maybe the weird way to welcome this new era is in a subtle approach, rather than just going, oh, look, there's the Fiend.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's more in a case of the way that the show is put together is a celebration of the new way, rather than like a major big return for the sake of doing a return. Because that's the thing that WWE was like for a long time, in the sense that they would book stuff just to get those big OMG moments. Whereas Triple H is very much of the old school, very much sort of territory NWA days, as we were saying yesterday. And he would like to do more long-term storytelling, which I think we'll see play out. So I think the true creative splash will be in less camera cuts, looser commentary, and people talking about belts. I
think though, if there was ever a situation that could be forgiven for doing a big OMG moment, it would be this one, because this very much reminds me of when Gordon Brown became Prime Minister.
I was thinking just that the other day.
Because I think it was 2007, maybe, or 2005, I don't know. Whenever Gordon Brown became Prime Minister, I remember I learned this again in politics, A-level, that people were saying, do a snap election, Gordon Brown, do a snap election, because he was unelected. He just took over from Tony Blair. Call a snap election now and get yourself a mandate from the people. And he bottled it. And then it didn't get his reign off to the best start. Triple H needs to do a snap election, a.k.a. a big moment at SummerSlam. Where am I going with
So, I know what you're saying, because apparently somebody bumped into him after he left the arena and said, you need to do a big creative moment. And he went, yeah, okay, I will. And then he got in the car and went, oh, it's just some bigoted woman.
A fantastic reference to the general election of 2011, I want to say, Tom.
And that is why you're here.
For the Gordon Brown Triple H jokes, they're flying.
I tell you who isn't a bigoted woman, Roman Reigns.
Okay, yeah. He's not in any sense of the word.
Are you telling me he is?
No.
You going to tell him to his face?
No.
He was on the Today Show, asking about, and they asked him about his match with Brocky Doodah on Saturday.
They certainly did, and he said, I hope it's the last time. You're not the only one, Ron.
Mate, we're all in the same boat.
He didn't say because he's sick of it. He said it hurts and it's brutal being in the ring with Brock. He's a big old country boy and he's got a great legitimate background. He's dominated WWE for a long time. The only problem he has is that Roman Reigns showed up and took over. Roman also talked about his new reduced schedule, his lighter WWE duties, and how they've helped him connect to his 5 children. He said, my schedule shifted around a little bit, which is a very political way of saying, I'm a big deal and I can take time off. So I have a lot more time at home now, and I feel that that relationship strengthening and those bonds getting better and better. So it's a very blessed situation.
See, I feel bad now saying get back to where Roman Reigns. He's playing, kitchens and stuff.
Yeah, good for him.
Get amongst it. We send our best wishes to Nick Wayne, finally. So you may have caught wind of this story over the past few days. Nick Wayne worked Progress Wrestling over the weekend, and he was making his way back from the UK to the US, and he was doing so via Germany. And it was on the flight from Frankfurt to Seattle. The flight was diverted to Iceland. Now, this came about when a threat about the plane was written on a bathroom mirror. Ooh. I think you can kind of conjure up what we're meaning when we say that. We're very cautious about what YouTube will allow us to say. Now, the plane, as we say, was diverted from Iceland, and passengers' luggage was searched. And according to Wrestling Observer, Nick Wayne's mother, who was with him for the weekend, was interrogated for a long time over this, because it was believed that something that she had on her person, I believe it was lipstick, could have been written to write this threat on the mirror in the bathroom. Yeah. And this meant that they spent a long time in Iceland, as they were under investigation. Nick Wayne gave us an update last night, didn't he?
Yes, he said on Twitter, "Made it back to Seattle. I appreciate all of you for everything." So it's good. It's great news, obviously, to hear that everybody's safe and that he made it home and that his mother did as well. She was said to have been in quite a panic by the whole ordeal, understandably so.
Yeah, you would be.
Yeah, I mean, I get edgy when I'm going through airport security just because it feels weird, and you're like, so I can't imagine what it's like to have been interrogated. Obviously, we're glad that everybody's safe and sound.
All the very best to everybody involved there. Check out the podcast feed today. Brand new episode of Desert Island Graps.
Oh, who with?
Sammy Callahan.
Oh, fantastic.
Had a lovely chat with former Impact champion.
He watches the channel, or he's familiar with quite a lot of us anyway.
We started the interview where he said, "I watched your video of you finding Hidden Palace in Sonic 2. And I was like, is this a dream? I'm not quite sure where I am right now. He's ace. He's great.
He got me to kiss him once on the cheek.
We've all done that.
I was interviewing him just after he'd lost a hair versus hair match. So it was when he buzzed his hair off, and he was like, "Do I look pretty?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, you look pretty." And he was like, "Tell me I'm pretty." I was like, "I'm pretty." He kissed me on the cheek, and I went, it was a really pathetic little kiss on the cheek.
You two being friends.
I don't know.
That's really nice.
He's a scary man.
We talked about his tattoos and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "What's the next one you're gonna get?" And he said, "Well, I want to get one based on there's a snack over here called Andy Cap hot fries." And I looked at the picture, and it's the Andy Cap comic strip. Remember the Andy Cap with the flat?
That's a very UK thing.
Yeah, the guy who's always in the pub going, "Oh, the wife, eh?" And I
bloody aren't we all?
The old Paul and Shane.
It's a very old-fashioned UK comic strip.
Very old-fashioned. Yeah. And I got to blow his mind by telling him that in Hartlepool there's an Andy Cap statue. He thought they were just crisps.
Oh, he didn't realise there was a whole thing.
There was a comic behind it. He didn't know there was a comic. I didn't know they were crisps.
God, wait until he learns about Viz. It'll blow his mind.
Anyway, we do talk about wrestling in there as well as just Andy Cap and crisps. It's on the podcast feed. You'll be able to listen to it a little later on. And we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe and love you. Bye.